Welcome back to the Thinking Out Loud podcast. My name is Kevin Wilson.
And I am Kyle, and we have a show for you today. Just before us getting on air, we had a little bit of a discussion. I want to let you guys in on this discussion.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Before you keep going, listen, man, you just said, I'm Kyle Winsel, and we have a show for you. Sounds like Veggie Tales.
Oh, my. It's the product of having a 2-year-old. No,
Yeah, I guess.
but listen, we were talking about food as usual.
Yeah.
And got on the topic of pizza. And what was your favorite pizza? To this day, franchise-wise, Jets is it's my favorite pizza. There's just no other way of getting around it. Now, I've discovered a local friend of mine who has better pizza than Jets. But we were talking about Jets pizza, and I don't know that it was so much, and this is where our conversation went, I don't know it's so much that I like Jets pizza than it is that I like Jets ranch with the pizza. And talking about how, and I told Kevin this, I said, Kev, I don't even like Hidden Valley anymore. Like if it's ranch, I want Jets ranch. And if it isn't Jets ranch, it better have the same consistency of it. It better be just like, at least in the same ballpark as Jets ranch. And so we started talking, and Kev, you want to bring up one of the statistics you found out about ranch itself?
So I don't know how true this is, but I've heard that ranch is the official sauce for Black people. So look.
Hey, it came from Kev, man. It didn't come from me.
I don't know any Black person who does not like ranch. Like, I love ranch. You know, I can't eat it anymore because it makes me sick now for some reason. But it is my number one go-to, no matter what.
So listen, I'll back that statement up with personal experience. My best friend in the whole world, it's no secret. He's Black. Okay, his name's Donald. He'll tell you he's my best friend, and he introduced me to the idea of ranch and barbecue sauce mixed, and ranch and hot sauce mixed. And so it's consistent that ranch was it was the consistent variable in even those two. And I to this day, I remember making chicken rolls with just like the tortilla bread, little shredded chicken, and there would be some sort of ranch, something in that chicken roll. And so, listen, it made me think about this, and I didn't talk to Kevin about this. I wanted to wait to get on air. But Kevin, do you like hot sauce?
I do not.
Oh. Why does that surprise me? Why does that not surprise me?
Listen, I don't.
You're just the anomaly. That's what it is.
I don't like watermelon. I don't like hot sauce. I don't like chitlins.
You don't like steak?
I don't like steak.
Okay. Well, I have a certain beef with hot sauces. And I was talking to a guy on social media, and it was specifically about Tabasco sauce.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, why does Tabasco sauce taste so nasty? Like, what is it? And I said, correction. Tabasco sauce tastes like vinegar, like flat out vinegar. It's just another form of vinegar. And so we were getting on the topic of food, and Kevin got me mad because I'm a foodie, and I started going down this rabbit trail of why I don't like certain pizza, why I don't like certain ranch. Now I'm on this trail of why I don't like certain hot sauce. And so there we are. We're talking about hot sauce ranch and pizza on a rainy Saturday, and I am stuck trying to stay on a diet. So
yeah, man. I am all about ranch, but let's talk about pizza for a second. So I know we mutually know of a person who has some amazing pizza, which I haven't had yet, which I am very interested because pizza is like one of my favorite foods.
When you are in a picture with this guy and somebody comments from 45 minutes away from where this guy lives and says, "How do you know my pizza guy?" That's how you know his pizza's good.
Yeah.
And when you feel like you just turned from talking about pizza to talking about a drug deal, That's how you know. What do you mean you're pizza guy? That's my pizza guy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right?
that's how you know that pizza's legit.
Yeah, and I can't wait to have some. Pizza is just amazing. I literally could eat pizza every day. Like I don't think I'd ever get tired of pizza. I can eat it cold. I can eat it hot. I can. It doesn't matter.
That's why it's cold and hot. Like you can eat it. However, it's just if it's accessible, it's there. It's good. You know it's gonna be good. All right. It's just
Yes,
different. It's just different versions of good. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
It's
yes, 100%. I can eat. Listen, I can eat DiGiorno. I could eat that Tostinos or whatever it is that.
oh the Tostino. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
man, it's like, and that's probably bottom feeder pizza, but that stuff it's probably
Listen,
cardboard that
you
we're
text the
eating.
wife. You tell her, honey, I'm on my way home. Put that oven to 350. Set the timer
Yes,
to 12
queen.
minutes. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm. You know what I do too? You know what I do is I sprinkle a little extra on those pizzas.
Oh
So I
yeah.
just get the cheese one and then I put my own little stuff on top of it, throw it in the oven, put the light on
Yeah.
so I can watch it
Yes.
cook because I
Yes.
like watching my food come to life.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh
Listen,
man.
we were talking too earlier about different pizzas and eating at different places. And I was telling Kyle about this place in Chicago because we love to go to Chicago. We try to go like once a year, twice a year, whatever. And there's a place called Luminato's in Chicago, which has got some fantastic pizza. And I'm sure I'm gonna get some Chicago listeners that's gonna email us and tell us about all these places that are even better than that place. Which, hey, go ahead and do that. And if you listen, if you're in Chicago, because I go every year, and you have a favorite pizza place, and please, not Giordano's. I've been there; it's not that great.
Oh,
Fight me, fight me. It's not that great.
try me.
Tell you right, because I throw hands. Um, but if you live in Chicago and you're listening to the show and there's a better place than Illuminatos, let me know because you can message us on Facebook, email us, whatever you want to do. But I'm telling you, that is the best pizza I have ever had in my life. And my family feels the same way. And we're pizza snobs. Now, every Friday is pizza at my house. So we always look forward to it. We already know my wife doesn't have to figure out what she's going to cook. She knows we're getting pizza from somewhere. So,
Well, it's safe to say that pizza is definitely part of your culture in your home. But let's switch
yes,
over. You're going to like this segue. Let's switch over to cancel culture in
yes,
society. And so,
yes.
folks, we have, now that we've made you hungry, go ahead, put on that Tortino's pizza, spark it up for 12 minutes, sit down and enjoy some of this. We are going to talk about cancel culture with you today.
Yeah.
And it's a topic that I don't see us not coming back to in the future just because it's a growing topic. It's a growing issue. It's an issue that's always been around now that I think about it, but because of social media and because of news platforms, it's more specified, it's more individualized, and it's probably more prominent than we've ever seen it before. And so we're going to talk about cancel culture today. And real quick, just to kind of give you an overview of what cancel culture is, because I have a feeling that many of you have experienced cancel culture. I have a feeling that many of you have been a part of cancel culture, but you didn't know it was called cancel culture. So by definition, cancel culture or call out culture is a modern form of ostracism in which someone is thrust out of social or professional circles, either online or in the real world or both. Basically, those who are subject to the cancel culture, they're said to be canceled. I mean, it's that simple. You either stop giving support to that person after they've done or said something that you've considered or you've deemed offensive. Simply put, it's a way of boycotting.
Mm-hmm.
And the starting point of cancel culture and why I think it's been around a lot, it's no secret Kevin and I have grown up in the church. And
Yeah.
I may be going on a limb here, but maybe the church started this in a
Mm-hmm.
way. Maybe we've kind of been a part of, in a healthier way, canceling things that don't agree with what you believe. right?
Yeah.
And in a way that we've done that is we've just not associated ourselves with certain organizations because they believe, let's say if they support abortion, well, obviously we don't believe that abortion should be legalized, or we support life. So we ostracize, right, that organization. We cancel any kind of support to that organization. That's just one example. I know of current examples now in the church where kids are being removed from schools because of certain stances that the schools are taking, and that is a form of boycotting. What we're doing is we're saying our kid is no longer going to your school, you're no longer getting our money, and
Right.
this is why, because we're taking a stance. So the starting point of cancel culture, and this is really where I think we're gonna camp out today on cancel culture is, where's the line?
Mm-hmm.
What's the healthy part of cancel culture? What's the healthy part of call out culture? And what's taking it to the extreme, and what's the unhealthy part of it? And so to give you a little background, cancel culture really started with the cancellation or boycotting of famous people. That's when it became prominent, where we started seeing it in the media, in the news. Basically, any type of celebrity, any type of sports figure who had some sort of social influence, if they were involved in unethical actions, unlawful situations, example, R. Kelly. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Canceled R. Kelly music. I mean, anything to do with R. Kelly. If you don't know a lot about R. Kelly, go ahead and research it. It's not going to take long for you to figure out he was involved in some very unethical situations. Guys like Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby. I mean, these are guys that we've seen become at the pinnacle of their career, just these influential figures that, because they were involved in something unethical globally, these guys were canceled from
Mm-hmm.
even being a figure in a social world or a public worldview. And it's to the point now where the R. Kelly situation has been in the justice system for a long time, but his partner, one of his assistants in music, just recently, she's still in the music world, and
Mm-hmm.
she just tweeted out at like 2 a.m. how hard it was for her to continue to make music without her advisor in R. Kelly there. And
Yeah.
all she was saying, for example, all she was saying was, listen, this guy helped me develop music. He taught me how to do this. I mean, he was a pioneer of what we know some of R&B to be today, some of what we know R&B to become today. And
Mm-hmm.
here he is. He's ostracized. He's taken completely out of that genre now, not even
Mm-hmm.
spoken of, to the point to where even if you mention his name in your tweet, you're on the verge of being canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of where cancel culture is at now. So it was at the point where, Kev, I feel like it got off on the right foot.
Yeah.
We were canceling bad agenda. We were canceling just horrible people. Basically, the message was, we don't support that action. Okay,
Right.
that is not something we're going to allow our kids to grow up to. But now I think it's gotten to a point to where we're allowed to personally attack individuals, personally try to shut individuals down based on their beliefs over topics that could go either way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
now what we're seeing is if you speak out against a certain political individual, or if you support a certain political individual, if you speak out against a certain community of people, or if you support a certain community of people, you're looking at this: a loss of job, you're looking at a denial of a job, you're
Mm-hmm.
looking at public humiliation. And so what started as a simple method to push for justice, which I think is awesome. I think if we're going to push for justice, let's do it. Let's do it on all platforms.
Right.
But what started as a simple method to push for justice is now a method used to push agenda. And
Mm.
anytime that you're going to push agenda, there is going to be a level of unhealth involved in that. And so what we're seeing now is there's no balance. And we're going to get into this in a minute. I just kind of want to overview this. There's no balance in arguments of moral living. It's either one side or the other. And if you don't agree with one side, then we're going to cancel the other side. And so
Mm-hmm.
now it's a battle of cancelization instead of a fight for justice, instead of a fight for truth. Okay. And so what started out as everyone should have a voice, because that's what cancel culture was.
Mm-hmm.
Cancel culture was, hey, I'm just a simple youth pastor in the Detroit metro area of Michigan, right? But I don't like what Harvey Weinstein and all those guys are doing in Hollywood and in the big structure of their business. Well, now I have a voice to say, I don't agree with this. Why is he on my social media platform? I don't agree with this. Why are they still producing movies with this individual in it? And
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood heard that voice and they shut it down. And not
Right.
only did Hollywood shut it down, but now FBI investigations are going on. And so cancel culture was in its original form, it seems like a very healthy thing. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what it did was it highlighted the truth. And not only did it highlight the truth, it called for action. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the reason it called for action is because we no longer supported movies on Netflix, was because we no longer supported movies in the theaters, was because we no longer supported even watching news press held conference over these topics. They were losing money. And so now they had to investigate and show, okay, we're not going to stand for this either. However, I think it's taken a turn now. What was being used to highlight the truth
Mm.
may now be used to hide the truth.
Right.
And so how do we find this balance? Where should we draw the line on cancel culture? How do we balance cancel culture when we're arguing a set of beliefs?
Mm-hmm.
Because when it comes with setting the beliefs for whatever we're talking about in culture, we can't just cancel one perspective and then
Right.
just push another perspective. But that's what we're seeing in culture.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to unethical actions, well, we need to find as a society what unethical is, because
Right.
what we're seeing now is, well, what one side of the spectrum says is unethical, the other side saying, well, how unethical is it? And now we're canceling a certain perspective. Is a simple offense really something that we should cancel a person over? Because being honest, again, people are losing their jobs over making a statement that it's their freedom of speech to make a statement. But they're going on a platform and they're saying, hey, listen, I don't agree with this and here's why. And it could be an educational statement, but because they didn't agree with a certain agenda, it's now labeled offensive. Well, now you're going to lose your job over it. And so I think, and I'm going to leave you with this, Kevin, I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to come up for air here. I think that cancel culture is good and bad, and here's why. I think censorship is one of the biggest um, hindrances to truth. But
Mm-hmm.
I also think censorship is, again, another hindrance to truth in a different way. And let me explain. I think there's a time and there's a time and place for censorship. And I also think there's a time and a place for a lack of censorship. I really do. Um, One of the objections to cancellation is that it chills open debate and makes people self-censor. That's good. I think people should
Mm-hmm.
self-censor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I also think that there should be a time where people need to get the truth out, no matter how hard it is to tell it. And there's going to be times where when you say truth, it's just going to offend people at times.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if we over censor things, we negate truth in debates and in conversations. And I think that's where um, cancel culture has left us as a society today.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you really giving a well-rounded view of that, because when I look at kind of what everything is going on right now, I just feel like we're going down the wrong road. And we're just having an open and honest conversation about it. I mean, I'm just kind of talking raw here. I don't feel like that we should go down the road of everything is censored. I mean, we're looking at what Twitter's doing right now, Facebook's doing right now. If it doesn't agree with the narrative that they think is right, they're censoring it.
Yeah.
I think that's insane. Like, we
Yeah.
cannot, like, like in I guess the problem that I have with it, it only seems to be on one side.
And
It's
that's what I meant by getting a little more specific is, listen, cancel culture is fine as long as it's fair. But
right.
what we're seeing on our social media platforms is, and it's no secret, okay, we're not being biased here. Okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
no secret. There is a certain side of agendas being pushed, and there's a certain side being silenced.
Right.
And there could be a little bit of truth in both. There could be truth in one side. It could be, whatever the case is, we're not allowing for truth to be totally perceived in anything.
I agree 100%. And I think what we're doing is we're going down a road where our country was built on free speech. Our country was built on you being able to have a voice just as an individual. And I am not offended when someone else has an opinion that is completely opposite of mine, and that's what they truly believe. I think where I have an issue is when somebody has an opinion about something that they have not studied, they have not researched, and clearly their opinion is based on the media or just some buzz thing they heard and all this other type of stuff. Like, it's not an educated opinion, it's an opinion because it's the popular opinion,
Yep.
and that makes me want to shut them down, which I won't, but it makes me want to. But just because I want to doesn't mean that they should be shut down. And I feel like that's kind of where we are in society. It's just like, okay, well, you know what, you didn't say something I like, cancel you. Like,
Exactly. And that's where, if you're listening, listen, you're a part of it. You're a part of cancel culture. We all are,
yes.
unfortunately.
Yep.
Beware of that, because when one side says, well, cancel culture exists because we have a voice, there's also the side that says cancel culture exists and we have a voice. Unless you offend me, then I'm going to cancel you.
Right.
Well, now you're defeating the whole purpose of it. We use cancel culture, and we should be using cancel culture to cancel out the unethical acts, okay? To cancel out, let's just be honest, the sex traffickers, to cancel out the pedophilia, to cancel out the agenda that these children, okay, are just, they're not valued. That was the origination of this in the media. But unfortunately, it's taken a turn of, well, if that's not acceptable, then I need to cancel out for the stuff that I don't think is acceptable either. Listen, there's a huge line between right and wrong, and there is a specific line between legal and illegal. I think that's a place where cancel culture can exist. The moral dilemma debates, the belief debates, all of those debates, again, everybody has a voice. But be careful not to just say, well, I have a voice because I believe this, but I'm going to cancel everything outside of that. That's where debates need to be at times censored, not canceled, and then at times uncensored. They need to be healthy debates, because unfortunately, there are just so many sides to different moral debates.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a debate of, well, you're wrong, I'm right, and it's a debate of how I choose to live my life. Okay. And I'm raising two girls right now,
Mm-hmm.
in a world where I'm scared that what I teach in the home isn't just going to be censored, but it's going to be canceled in the school systems. It's going to be canceled on the media. It's going to be canceled through any kind of publicity. I
Mm-hmm.
have a freedom of raising my daughters in my belief. I have a freedom of teaching my daughters what I feel like is right or wrong in the world, and what I feel like is ethical and unethical in the world. And I feel like, as a parent, that's my right. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's my job. As a justice system, it is now their job to cancel the support of any kind of crime going on in any sort of social influence figure out there. And I think that's where the divide has just meshed now. And we've just allowed cancel culture to run our life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that, there are certain things that we should all cancel. Like, it's just for the betterment of society, right? So
Yep.
people like R. Kelly and the things that he did, like, cancel him. Like, he's done. Like,
Yeah.
we don't want to listen to you. We don't want to hear you. We don't want to, like, get yourself together. And I'm not saying shut the door on him to where he can't be rehabilitated. But what I'm saying is, as far as you being a leader and an icon in our society, I'm sorry, we're not going to have an icon that rapes little girls.
No,
Like,
you're
we're
just no longer an icon.
right. You're just
The message is, you're very talented, and now you're going to have the ability behind bars to get rehabilitated. But our message is, we don't support that. We don't support what you did. And so,
right,
unfortunately, we're going to have to cancel what your music really did, what was about.
right.
Um, Yeah, and so that's
Yeah,
that's the part of cancel culture that I can agree with.
yeah, I think we should all have things that we rally around and cancel. I think the issue though is it's hard when people make certain things like, gay marriage or rights for the LGBTQ community. It's hard because if we come out and say, hey, that's a sin or that's not right or whatever the case may be, it's like, well, but that's their human right. Cancel all Christians, cancel, whatever, cancel this podcast, cancel, and it's like, we can all have opinions about that particular thing. Now, if someone took that down to one person and said, hey, this one person is going around raping people or whatever, cancel that person. Don't cancel everything about the situation,
Right.
because everybody has, a right to free speech. And I just think that young adults and youth right now, I don't think they understand that they are watching the eroding of America as we know it. Like, the only reason why America is great is because of free speech, is because we can all go to the polls and vote for whoever we want to, and that person wins. Or, we can have an opinion, and there's talk shows and there's podcasts and there's like all of these, there's newspapers, magazines, and we can say whatever we want to say in any of those forums. People have websites. They can say whatever they want. We're not in North Korea where everything is censored through the government and you must say that you love the government or else you're pretty much dead. Like, that's not, we don't want to live in
Right.
that kind of society. But I'm telling you, that's where we're headed if we continue the unhealthy portion of cancel culture. Because if we continue that unhealthy, it's going to be like, oh, well, that person didn't say what I wanted them to say, cancel them. And you're going to go on Facebook, you're not going to be able to have an argument with anybody. You're not going to be able to
Right.
have a discussion with anybody because all it's going to be is everybody with your point of view, which I'm telling you, you think you want that, you don't want that. Like,
Oh.
we help each other out, by me getting the other opinion. I'll tell you right now, I study and research and listen to a lot of people that has opinions completely, I mean completely opposite of me. But I do that because, one, it sharpens me. It helps me to know, one, where they're coming from, because
Mm-hmm.
it's, people disagree with people automatically without even realizing or understanding where a person is coming from.
Right.
There are certain people that says Black Lives Matter, and that when they say the word Black Lives Matter, they're pretty much saying they support everything that Black Lives Matter supports. They will loot, they will riot, they will whatever. But then there's other people that say that Black Lives Matter, and it means something totally different. They're just basically saying, I'm not saying that white lives don't matter or Chinese lives don't matter or anything like that. I'm just saying, because of what's happening in the culture today, Black Lives Matter, right? And so I don't want to just automatically cancel somebody because they say something and I don't even know. It's a very dangerous slope to go down.
And it's unfortunate that people have been canceled for stuff like that. They've lost their jobs for stuff
Yes.
like that. Again, we are not in a communist nation, right? Let's just flat out put it out there. So the fact that we can lose our jobs for posting something like that. Now I understand, the moral issue of someone getting on there and just having a racial comment that just, what I'm saying? Like, there's no place for that. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, you're going to lose your job because here's the deal. We have to do our best at eradicating stuff like that. But again, that's the place where cancel culture should exist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, where all people can get on that common ground and go, yeah, that's evil. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's wrong. Yeah, no matter what religion I am, no matter what set of beliefs I have for the home, no matter what it is, no matter what background I came from, that right there is a common enemy.
Mm-hmm.
That's where cancel culture belongs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, but getting out there and saying, hey, this is what I believe about same-sex marriage, or this is how I'm going to raise my family, or this is what I believe about the Black Lives Matter campaign, and here's what I've researched, and here's what I found. People have gotten on social media and they've done that, and they've done it in an educated way because, again, they're just trying to get truth out too, right? Their perspective, and they've come into question with their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's taking it too far. I feel like if one side's allowed to say, and I'm just gonna be blunt, if one side's allowed to say, well, I support all that and keep their job, then somebody who comes along and says, I don't support that campaign and I don't support that slogan should also be able to keep their job. There's a fine line between racism. There really is. And I think that we've muddled that up enough in cancel culture to not understand where that even leads. And so I think that as a people, we have to use censorship ourselves.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm going to come out against something, I need to make sure that it's in the right heart. Okay. And I need to make sure that I'm educated on the topic and that when I do articulate why I'm saying what I'm saying, that people can understand. But secondly, if I don't understand, if I'm on the flip side and I don't understand, it's not an immediate hate train. It's not an immediate, I'm going to attack this person. I want them to lose their job. People's livelihoods are at stake over some of the most simple conversations that we can have as human beings, but we have been trained to just cancel. Don't
Mm-hmm.
agree with me? Cancel. And unfortunately, now we're raising a generation of students that are afraid to stand up in the face of adversity. They're
Yeah.
afraid to stand up for truth because not standing up for truth is far less harmful for them than to stand up for truth. And what they don't realize is complying to what's not true is actually far more harmful for you. So we're in the battle right now.
Where would we be today if people like Martin Luther King, think about the era that he was born in and the things that he did. The common thing was that black people were inferior and that, white people were the superior race. And what if he was canceled? Just saying. What if he was just canceled because he didn't have the idea that was the prominent idea of the day? I would not be sitting here with Kyle, most likely, on a platform to share my opinions and my feelings about anything as a black man. If he was canceled, because look, he went against the grain of society. What he was saying was not what society was saying.
Right.
Like that's not what and he could have been, and if he was in this culture, he could have been canceled, right? And this is what people don't understand is that we have to be careful that we don't censor new movements or new things that could bring actual light and life and a good way forward just to America in general. But if you start censoring everybody and no one feels like they can write a book, no one feels like they can put anything on Facebook, or like Kyle said, or else they're going to get their job taken away. Like you don't want to live in that society, because here's the thing: it may not be happening to you today,
Right.
but it's coming.
Right. Right.
It's
Because
coming.
I'm glad you said that. I am so glad you said that because I don't want to say you as if I'm preaching to you,
Yeah.
but if you're unfairly using it, what you're doing to somebody today is going to come back to bite you tomorrow because you're infringing on their rights. And what you're saying to the government is, I accept this infringement. Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to be a slope into that direction. And one day you're going to look back and go, how did all this happen?
Yeah.
Because we were selfish enough to allow our situation affect someone else's freedom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're still all American people, so it's going to eventually trend that way for the entire nation.
Right. And I think the church, I think we just have to, I mean, obviously, we can't back down on what we feel and what we know is right and what's true. We have to continue to speak truth. I think we have to do it in love. And I think even as the church, I think we need to be fair with people who don't agree with us.
Yeah.
Again, we can all stand together on things that are unethical, immoral, and that are crimes. We can all
Right.
stand shoulder to
Right.
shoulder in
Right.
those things. But when it comes to things where, you know, the church is expecting the world to think like the church does, that's impossible. They
Mhm.
can't. So I'm not going to cancel. And this, it goes back to something we talked about many shows before. I'm not going to cancel Target because Target decides to do whatever Target does. Target is not a Christian. Like Target is not, you know what I'm saying? Like Target is going to do what Target does because they want to do what they have to do for money. Like they don't care. Like that's
Yeah.
not, you know, and so for me to put them up to a standard and say, Target, you better do this and you better do that, they don't know God. They don't understand. So they, and
Right.
I'm not saying, and listen, if you feel convicted not to shop somewhere based on this or that, please don't shop there. Because
Right. Yeah.
whatever you can't do in faith is a sin. So please, if Target comes out with a policy and and you feel like you shouldn't shop there anymore, don't shop there. Right. And don't say, well, Kevin said that, you know, that it's okay. No, I didn't. I'm telling you to follow Christ. What I'm saying is, me personally, I am not going to cancel a store because of a policy that they have that I don't agree with, because there's a lot of things that a lot of people do that I don't agree with, but I still use their products, right?
Yeah.
I still wear shirts that I know that somebody over in Tanzania probably only got paid $1 for that
If
whole
that.
month, if that, for that whole month, right? So if I'm going to cancel Target, I need to cancel Ralph Lauren. I need to cancel Cole Haan. Like I need to cancel all these people who I have zero problem with wearing their clothes, right? So that's, again, we've got to be careful. We got to be careful here. And the world itself will never be completely Christian. We want it to be. We're striving for that. We continue to go out and try to help change, you know, allow God to change people's life one by one. But it just, I mean, obviously we know in the word of God, that'll never happen. Right. So the thing that we can do is live our lives. Let's not cancel each other. Let's realize that we're going to have difference of opinions. And if we're a Christian and we have somebody that's a non-Christian that's like saying something against us, just show them the love of Christ and show them the right way to respond to that.
Yeah. I mean, we're ultimately trying to cancel someone else's truth.
Right.
But let me just say, you canceling it cuts off all line of communication of the truth you have.
That's right.
And so I tell our teenagers this all the time, and I just said it this last Wednesday, but we can't be surprised when sinful people act in sin. Like
Right.
we've got to stop acting shocked that, oh, that man that doesn't know Jesus is actually rebelling against Jesus. Well, yeah, he doesn't know. And
Right.
so we got to stop acting so surprised. I'm paraphrasing this verse, but the Bible actually talks about how will they know unless someone preaches to them? How
Yeah.
will they know who to call on unless someone tells them who to call on? And
Yeah.
so if we're just going to cancel everything and literally divide all communication from it, well, then how else are they going to know?
Yeah.
So I think part of it is also giving, like, there is a time, again, we set a time and a place for it. But I think if we just are so eager to cancel everything, we're negating our reach again. And we're negating them ever getting to experience or encounter truth other than their own perspective.
And you know, I might get myself in trouble here by bringing this up, but in our last few minutes, but I I think this is what happened with the election. You know, and by the time this airs, you know, we maybe we know who the president is, but I feel like people have this cancel culture mentality even with the president. Well, if Biden wins, cancel him. I don't want to see him. I don't want to talk to him. I hate
Yeah.
this. Everything about America's awful. The end of the world is coming. Or the other way around. It's like, well, cancel Trump. Everything he says is wrong. He can't do anything right. The world is going to literally erode as we know it if he's president. I mean, guys, come on. Like no matter who the president is, even if it's Biden, that right now, I mean, as of this taping, it looks like he's going to be the guy, right?
Yeah.
And he probably,
Yeah.
and he may be once this airs, but if he is, we can't cancel him. He's still the president of the United States of America. Like, we have to pray for him. We actually have to honor him and love him and want the best for him. We may
Yep.
not agree with his policies. We may not agree with his platform. We may not agree with a lot of things, but we can't cancel him. Like
No, but I don't have the funds to move out of the country, nor do I want to. Okay, like
yeah.
this is part of a democracy. Okay, this is what it is, and again, I think the church could be an example in this way.
Yeah, and accept what is. Like, it doesn't mean that you agree with it. It doesn't mean that you condone it, but you accept it, you move on, and you continue to pray that
Yeah,
God would continue to speak to and visit the hearts and the lives of men and women across the world, but especially in America, because this is where the world is looking. They're
yeah,
looking at us. So, again, I think this is a really good point to say, guys, whatever happens with this election, just let's not get out of let's not get out of Christian character. I understand everyone's mad on both sides. I get it, but we're not canceling anybody.
right.
We're allowing the process to continue, and we are going to be the hands and feet of Jesus. We're going to love people, and we need to. And what we do need to cancel is we need to cancel bitterness, division, strife, all of those things that we know that shouldn't be a part of our lives. Even if it's something that we hate, the Bible says, "Be angry, but sin not."
Yeah,
So, don't let the sun go down on your wrath.
yeah,
Yikes. Think about that for a second,
yep.
right? So you were mad at Biden and Trump today. The Bible says don't let the sun go down on your wrath. So be done with it by tomorrow, right?
Mhm.
But in society, we don't. We just keep it going and going and going. So, guys, we've got to get back to, and don't get me wrong, guys, I have the same emotion, the same feeling. I'm not trying to be self-righteous or act like I have arrived or I understand it. I get just as upset. I get just as angry. I get just as triggered as anybody else. But I am trying to learn every single day to temper myself and allow the Holy Spirit to control my fingers, what I type, what I say out of my mouth, and who I'm canceling. I need to cancel sin, not people. That's what's important. So,
Yeah, guys, that's basically what we wanted to cover with this topic. Obviously, it's a more broader topic right now. I have a feeling we kind of, you blanket statement things, you lay a foundation out for things, and then as society continues to roll, we'll probably have a drop here or there. Did you hear about this being canceled? Did you hear about him being canceled or her being canceled? But the conversation is that we do need censorship from time to time. I mean, there is definitely good stewardship in that. But guys, we have to also understand the power of truth. And so let's just keep the balance out there. Let's not get too eager about things. And eat your pizza.
right, and ranch.
And ranch. But
Ranch.
guys, thank you so much for joining us today. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Thinking Out Loud podcast. On Instagram, it's a little different. It's thinking_out loud. But you can find us. You'll know our logo there. When you listen to us, go ahead and rate and review. That will help us out tremendously. And looking forward to talking with you guys next week. Kevin, you want to say anything?
Hey, guys, have a great week. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.